production risk has thought about some of these things or any of them? How many of you, okay. And it makes it easier when you weigh that out, right? Yeah. Just like even with production, if you're getting ready to buy seed or whatever, if you don't have crops that come back every year, you know, you've got to think about, I need $50 to even put something in the ground. So then when I get over to that financial, if I've spent 50, when I get to, you know, harvest time or whatever, if I've got $70, I really didn't make 7. I only made 20. Then I've got to go back and look at that human. What do I do with this 20? I've got to have seed money for the next production. I've got to pay somebody. And plus, we as small growers, you know, they want to call us hobby farmers because we never include labor. Even if it's your farming operation. I retired from the school doing everything from the maid to the transportation to the food, whatever. But I learned early on with my first USDA Farm Service Agency loan, my off-farm money was not going to those blue kids. That's what USDA is for. I'm not going to use my money for farming. My farm has to pay for itself. When we had horses, sometimes I'd be the raggediest. My horse wouldn't have the people from Pembroke and all the people come, had them big fancy saddles. They'd have on all those chaps. One time I raised my horse had, what's this stuff, seagrass, the twine. I had twine for a bit. Ain't nobody caught me yet. Didn't make no difference because I knew if those horses didn't pay enough for me to buy hay and stuff during the years, they had to earn their keep. And they was looking at how fast I could go. They was looking at, you know, at first they was laughing, but we soon stopped that. So, anyway, but see, then I come, COVID has no railroad tracks, no red lights, no tall buildings. Oh, yes. Yes. We came here for years for the rodeo.
Yeah, I remember. That's how I remembered her. At first I told her, I saw her in Sarah, this one of these folders, like 3 or 4 years ago. And last night she said, I know you. I said, only from horses. And we've been knowing each other, what, like 25 years?
As long as we've been riding since she was the... But so, you've got to consider all of that. I know I'm going to get a paycheck. And it's not fair for me to ask my spouse or my children or my neighbor to come and work for me and not give them something. Now, we might have to agree on it, or you might say, you know, give me this or give me that, and then I'll give you this part, or I can do 3 hours. But all of that is important. In every risk, in my production, I've got to consider. I don't look at money, I look at net instead of gross. Because gross will fool you every time. Gross will fool you, you know. I get those checks, you know, and when I started, when my grandkids were getting older, everybody in my family knows the whole blueberry story. It's as much difference in the kids in Covert that grew up picking berries for their school clothes and stuff as the kids who were owners of the land. It's night and day. I have friends who won't make their kids pick berries because they had to do it. But they didn't know the whole story. So as mine got older, they would take the, and everybody wants these certain jobs. You know, you can pick berries and get so much of it. But now with minimum wage, though, any job is good. Then she can just talk about doing the $10 and 10 cents an hour.
One of my childhood friends, Priscilla's brother,
Right.
I said, what are you doing now? Now he's 40-something or
56.
Is he 56 now? Oh my goodness. But anyway, I said, what you been doing? Picking blueberries. That's what he's doing for his living. Picking blueberries and proud of it, and is not shying back about it or anything. That's what he does for his living.
Because
Making a living.
you're making $8, well, 8 is the less I pay, but I think minimum wage in Michigan now is like $7.45. So one of my grandsons has been my farm manager for 2 years. My daughter, them, they kind of think it's gone to his head or whatever, but they're getting $8 an hour. So they're out of school. Their checks was averaging $200 and $300 a week. And one off the farm, he went to wash dishes in a restaurant in town. He's making, by the time they take out their taxes and all, he's bringing home about $60 or $70, and his brother's got a $200 or $300 check every week going to the bank. Now I didn't take out taxes, but they would have to stop at the point when they got 600. And so that was, all of that, we've got to perfect that now, because if they work a whole season, they're going to make more than 6, We haven't gotten into the 1099. But just the fact that they can get jobs, whatever you're doing, if it's tomatoes, whatever you're doing, you've got to pay somebody. And you've got to pay yourself. That's a good thing about SAG too, and I keep going back and forth, so if I need to get back on track, just shoot me. But with those farmer rancher grants, most grants don't want you to say, people try to create some little budget so that they can get something out. SAG feels that $15 is a nice hourly pay. So if you're writing a farmer rancher grant, and I've reviewed them for years, if you're writing a farmer rancher grant for $7,000 and says your operation, you're going to put in 20 hours a week, you include that in your budget. If you're going to pay somebody else, you do that. Now they pay 50% for equipment or something, but they'll buy seeds, whatever the little regs are. But whatever it is, include labor in your project. You don't have to tell a story about I'm gonna do this when you're really not, because you need to be able to pay somebody. Go ahead.
When I was first looking into SARE, they have a table as to, they show you how to fill out your grant, and it's like you're saying everything you need. They show you if you get a person that works so many hours and how much you paid them, and all of that's already listed, so you have an idea of what it is. If you've got an intern, you got to pay them something. If you have to rent equipment, all of that. They've got a table already sit there, so that kind of gives you an idea of how to put your plan together.
And see, that's what's risk management. That's why they break it down like this. They go to marketing, and then when you get to that financial, that's when they teach you that all of that is in. You just have to make it profitable. It needs to be something that I enjoy doing, because my grandfather taught me, it's not really work until you don't want to do it. Now, if it's something you want to do, plus you get a little cash, it's going to be successful. We're going to boom. We're going to reach maximum yield. But now, if I don't want to do it, you're making me do it, plus you're not giving me a dime, I got to get sick. I just ain't gonna, and it's not gonna be profitable.
Plus, Barbara, volunteers are not gonna, there are wonderful volunteers, trust me. And if they're gonna volunteer, then make sure they volunteer from the heart, because if you try to grab somebody to be a volunteer, they're not gonna treat your stuff the same way you do.
Exactly.
And especially not if they're getting paid for something, you better believe they're gonna be there, they're gonna do the job right, exactly the way you need it done. If you're not going to pay them, you're not getting anything in the end.
And plus, though, if you're paying somebody, now my philosophy, everybody in COVID knows, they'll look at my tractor and something, ooh, that tractor hasn't moved. If you're going to tear my stuff, I'm not going to pay you and have to stand this. I'm not going to pay you and you're not going to take care of my equipment. If you planting seeds and you need to put 1 or 2 on the spot, and I come out and you broadcast them or you put a handful, you're not working for me. I'm not going to pay 2 people for 1 person's what they need to do. So, like with 4-H, they got statistics in the courtroom. 4-H children, they're in the system less. You get good responsibility doing ad. Children with the busy children with behavioral problems, when they're in that soil, it's a wonderful thing. Out in that fresh air, it's a wonderful thing. I'm teaching them responsibility. I'm teaching them that you got to do the same thing. If we start at 8, you're late if it's 7:45. I need you now. Some of my workers and stuff, I look at the difference in different groups, because some of us, we haven't got our good work things together. If we start at 8, 10 minutes to 7, I hit a harvester warming up. 10 minutes to 8. Or they're at work 15, 20 minutes, so they can speak, do whatever they need to do, get out their truck, get to the field. So you've got to put those good things in them. But if you want a good day's work, you give a good day's pay.
That's right.
I don't have no problem with minimum wage going to $10. It's going to make me as workers, maybe, but if they're getting paid good and doing a good job for me, I want the most for my blueberries. So in your financial risk, see, that's how all these risks take place. If I know that it costs me 60 cents a pound to produce a pound of blueberries, and I'm saying in my mind, I at least want $1 profit. That's already got my blueberries up to $1.60. But if I need a little more, then I have to do so. If it costs me 60 cents and you're a receiver, you want to sell my blueberries and you want to give me 40 cents, I'm already behind $8. So that's what the risk management teaches me. I've got to look at the whole picture. I might ever like you so much, you can taking them to the church, you're doing whatever. I've got to decide whether I want to make part of my cost or all of my costs, or how much profit I want. And so that goes back to your marketing risk. You know, what I see with marketing risk is we've got to change and do direct marketing. If I grow it, I produce it, can't nobody tell you no more about it than me. I don't need to grow and produce it and then you come back with the kind bag for 15 cents and you take it down here and sell it for $5. If I agree to that, that's fine. I'm paying the middleman. But most of the things we do between gross and net, the middlemen in so many industries are really getting the profit. And I'm an advocate of no middleman. Now, if I've got blueberries and you guys got greens over here, I can come bring you blueberries, you pay my price, and when I want to take some greens back, I pay what you want. And it's easy. It doesn't take a rocket science to do this, you guys. Risk management got all this information, read and hone up on it, but when you start reading, you realize it's common sense. It's doing what they pay you at an office to do. You go into somebody's office and look out for that company money like 40 going up. You know, you dot every I, you cross every T. If somebody's slacking, you're going to bring it to somebody's attention. This is all we're doing with our own businesses. Is running our operations as a business.
Let me ask you this. As far as your help now, volunteers and interns. Okay, I guess I'm asking, is an intern paid or unpaid?
It depends on how you do it. Now, I have a couple of farmers and then I'll do interns. They might be getting credits. They might be getting certificates or something. They can get stipends, and I just give stipends. So if you've got something in writing that you can take to your tax man, and that I've got, say you're learning farm management, and you're getting X amount of dollars. We've done a mentor program where that mentor farmer will get something for teaching you. You'll get something in turn, but you'll get a stipend while you're learning, because sometimes I have to give you an incentive. And most people that are farming have an off-farm job. Usually if you've got a farming operation, somebody in your operation is working at a job just for insurance benefits. That's where the co-ops and that's where the collaboration comes in, because if we get 20 of us that's just farming, we can go to an insurance company and say, you've got 20 families here, however many people. What kind of plan can you give us? Right. You know, and cooperatives is a whole different thing. But so it depends on how you do it. And plus with the labor law now, since their labor has changed, so because, you know, children can't be in the field or in your farming operation unless they live on the farm. If they are, then there are certain things that they can do. They got to have their work released from school. Now, my kids want to work in some of your operations, they would have to go to the school, get a work permit. School signs, verify who they are. If they're younger age, you can't let them handle any machinery. When they get a certain age, they can handle certain machinery. but you have to follow these guidelines. But you gotta pay them minimum wage. So they gotta almost work, they gotta still make it worth their while. You know, I came home one day and my little supervisor had this extra kids. I didn't even know the parents. It was 2 extra little guys out there because he's a wrestler. I go, oh, well, Granny, you know, we got a wrestling camp coming up and Raul need $200. So he wanted to work. Where you paying Raul? I don't have no work permit. Even though he lived through the woods on the house behind us, you know, wage and labor had come out. I'm in trouble. I don't have a work permit for him. I don't know the parents, so I don't know what they're going to say. And plus, I don't know how to work. So, Raul, you finish up the day. You go back home. But all of those things is part of these risks because head wage and labor come on my farm. And my grandson, he meant well because all his friends work. They work like me. They could do some stuff. But he didn't think of that and just thinking this kid wants to work in a honest day's money, you know. Right. So that part was good, but all of those are risks. Those were legal risks.
Is that
Legal is next to the last. Legal is number 4. See, they got them all lined up. I just have to highlight it. That's why my presentation is,
even for who wants to work on the weekend, he has to get a release from
school. And I have to be able to track, and I got to pay him minimum wage. Well, certain ages you can't. If you don't live on the farm, if you don't own the land, certain ages you can't be like those little kids out there. They can't be in the field. One of my families that has worked for me for years, a Hispanic family, and they teach their kids. They've been out there all their life. When the wage and labor law, when it got final, and then they were busting people, you know, because where I live, they did CBS did that special where they came out to this guy's name, Atkins Farm, and it was a day there was no school and there was no child care. The lady had the little kids out. Well, they walked on the farm. The kids weren't working, but it happened when they took the pictures. It showed on CBS for a long time. The little girl was carrying her mom's berries up to the thing. John Atkins is the largest blueberry producer in the nation. So, of course, his family was like $40,000, $50,000, you know, we have a blueberry council or whatever. Yeah, they got a smaller farm in my area twice because she didn't believe that meat was risk. She had the kids out there the first time, they were Spanish. Second time, because she didn't have no record, she was paying minimum wage. The next year she bought the machine I got because technology is so good now. Instead of, you know, we used to pay by the buckets and have to keep all those records. We've got some little machines. It's a scale and this computer. And when you bring your stuff up, boom, it gives you got a ticket, scan your ticket, and it'll tell me at the end of the day what you picked. And all I have to do is, if you was out there 8 hours, and I got to give you $64, and you haven't given me anywhere near enough product for $64, you won't be out there tomorrow. I might have to pay you that day. So now it's gone to where your pickers are almost, they're skilled laborers in agriculture. There's some people that can pick. Same as with apples, same as with peaches, same as with greens or anything. My organic friend that does the vegetables, you know, he uses a lot of Hmong farmers and Amish because they really work. They can get the leaves, fix it, boom, time and do them. It's worth his while to pay them, and he pays $10 an hour. So it all works together. So you have to have your legal risk because you can't have anybody in the field that's going to cost you extra money. Say you've got your production up to par, you've got your marketing, you've got your financial, you've got all your human factors, and then you're not doing illegal something and it's going to cost you $10,000 or $20,000. Boom, that's going to be a dead in your season. There you go, yeah. Go ahead now.
So actually, 2 questions that maybe can combine into one, but are there any services that, you know, will tell you about attorneys that are familiar with these that you can work with through the USDA or the agencies? And if so, are they grants? Because, you know, lawyers cost money.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do, what Jahari and Louise and I do, we're going to come up with some research and education where it's all, because in our project we had legal. But what I found out with doing that, see, we perish for lack of knowledge. I would be willing to bet your land grant school, what is it, University of Illinois, because Debbie Kavanaugh, she does with me on SARE, but they have Vice Chancellor of Southern University, he reached out to Cooley Law School, which in Michigan, Cooley Law School has the largest number of black attorneys in the nation, small law school. But anyway, they had some of the same programs that they have at Southern in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's an elder care program, and different states probably got different names. There was 3 pro bono or free programs that they offered. They got something for senior citizens, they got something for low income, they had something for ag workers. We did not know this. It took an attorney, and he just reached out, and they came and met with us and whatever. So when your project goes on, you just follow up. Yes, I believe almost anything you need, there's funding there for.
Yes.
They won't just, now what we usually do is if we want money or something, we want to start a farm, we say, oh, I want a grant. And they don't say there's no grants for that.
Yes.
But when you start reading and getting your education, different agencies, different companies like NRCS, it's cost share. When you get that conservation plan and your farm number and all of that, and then you tell the NRCS guy, the Natural Resource Conservation Service, I want to make a conservation plan. They walk your land with you, and Natural Resource Conservation Service deals with anything concerning air, water, and soil. Any concerns you have, they got a cost share for it, and it's dealing with air, water, and soil. Now, what else do you have to deal with?
Okay.
What else? Now, that sounds simple, and they're not going to break it down to you like that. Carmen. But that's going to give you a cost share. Okay, you got whether you're organic or chemicals. You got to feed your product. Whatever you're planting, you got to feed it. Whether it's fish fertilizer or nitrogen. Natural Resource Conservation Service, when they make that conservation plan and give you that EQIP contract, which is the cost share contract, they're going to give you, because you're a limited resource farmer, because you're a minority. Are you married or do you have a partner? You're married? Okay, then let your wife do it. Your wife is a minority. They're going to pay anywhere. I think this new farm bill is probably 90%. If you're spending $500 for fertilizer, they're going to give you $250 back. If you're spending $500 for pest management, they're going to give you $250 back. That's not a grant. It's called cost share program. It's helping me with my farming operation. See, that when the NRCS guy come here, he's not going to say that. You'll have him to tell you nothing's free. You're lying to me. Some of it is free.
Oh, we
Ask me.
We made Carzello watching over and make sure they told us everything.
Right, but and you won't learn it all at one time. Okay, did Carzello tell you this? And see, these are the kind of things I like to do. I don't need no script. Okay, when you apply, when you get your farm number, you tell your district conservationist who writes your conservation plan, because that plan will make you eligible for a lot more programs than EQIP. EQIP is the most popular. Do you know, do you have an EQIP contract? Or have you
I have an EQIP contract.
Okay, is it organic or traditional?
Mine is transitional, actually.
Okay, Mrs. Mozella, how much money do you get cost share?
Well, actually, I was exception because I told everybody I got more money than what I paid for my cover crops and all that. I actually made a profit.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
But this is my question to you. How much money did they tell you with your transitional that you can get cost share in your total
Up to
contract?
75%.
You don't have traditional. No, up to 75%. But let me tell you, with that traditional, with an organic contract, and my contract might be 2, 3, or 4 years for the practices that I want to get help with. They only can give you $20,000 cost share per year, a total of $80,000. With a traditional contract, you can get up to $250,000 for the life of the contract, which is going to be 4 to 6 years. With the traditional,
Tell us that, Bob.
I'm trying to tell you now, right? You're bumping. With the traditional, what they won't tell you is you can get half of it or all of it, all up front.
You get half or
Or
all
all of it. All them big commodity crop growers that you see, trust me, they know the deal. Plus, Yeah, once they know you know. Plus, an organic contract and a traditional can go side by side. You can have both.
What was that?
Wow.
I missed that one.
You can have an organic contract and a traditional one going side by side.
Do you have to
Ask
separate
Mr. Child.
Do you have to separate them by?
Yeah.
No, I mean you can run two contracts at once. Because see, like I'm on my second equip contract. What my practices that I addressed in my first one, I can't address in the second one. That problem too. Other than nutrient management and pest management. Okay, the first contract I got maybe 10 years ago. That's when they were building these chemical buildings for everybody. And they've changed their study improving because 10 years ago when I got my first one, it was a ritual. You do it practice, and after I buy my fertilizer, I take my receipts into the USDA office and go to the NRCS guy. I don't go to Farm Service Agency guy, I go to the NRCS guy. And I give him my receipts, and then when the secretary feel like it, they write out my check. They be playing with my money. When I found out they put it in that computer, my FSA money would come from Washington, I'd be sitting there watching the mailman. When the check come, I go in there, we ain't been to the mail. Go, it's out there, trust me. But anyway, the practices that I did in my first one, they were building chemical buildings then. They still building them now. And they were giving you like 80%. Because I did work with NRCS, I knew that they could give. So what else it does, it eliminates, say if you know some small contractors. Small contractors aren't able to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to buy equipment and build your chemical building for you.
Right.
Nobody's told us that in the regs you could get what they call an advance payment. So I could give my little contract half. So you got to by trial and error and helping people. I almost put my USDA knowledge up against any other layperson in the country because I'm a track and I don't do no with that.
You got a secretary and you do all this yourself.
You mean?
You don't need all
I might need a secretary. I keep saying I'm a giver, but we got friends.
She only made a sofa.
But then when you build these bonds and these relationships, what I miss you got. What you got, somebody gonna call me when I leave here.
Yes,
I met a girl in Georgia a few years back, and she was going to the NRCS thing. When she got to her district conservation, she had to call me in Michigan, and she got her plan. But what I'm saying, all the stuff that comes with travel, just like now, I know you're gonna be on it.
When Barbara, it took me forever. Our NRCS person here in this county, the previous one, not the current one, the previous one, was notorious for telling the farmers, well, you can write up your own, whatever you want, and then just come back to me, and then, and I'll see what we can do. That was as far as it got. I kept saying, well, what I need an FSA number, okay? For years, they kept saying, well, you don't have the right information to get an FSA number. You can't get an FSA number. You need to go and hire somebody to go and mark all your territory. I said, but it's in the deed. What are you talking about? No, we need another kind of official survey. For 10 years, I kept trying to get one and couldn't. And then I said, Barbara said, why don't you work with NRCS? We can't seem to get equip grant. They just told us to do it. She was like, are you kidding me? She made some calls.
Your state conservation.
To the regional people of the United States. That person was no longer part of that NRCS office. That weren't in after that. The entire Pembroke Farm and family members did not benefit because of that NRCS person.
But let me
And one
tell you
reason is this is a corn and
We
soybean.
didn't know.
No, that is no
And
reason.
they give them all the benefits and they don't give
No, they were getting those direct payments. Commodity is totally different. That wasn't the reason. It was because we didn't know the program.
Right.
Didn't know the
We
program.
didn't know the programs. And first of all, when you're asking, FSA does not give out the farm number. FSA does not give out the farm number because in most counties, the FSA guy, the county executive, the CEO of that county office is who give out the number. All the FSA guy does is you asking him for something. He take you in there and he go to this other little office, all of them in the same, and he'll say so and so and so and so. Then that CEO is who give out the number. NRCS can do it too, but FSA now, they interchange on some of the payments and stuff, but FSA, they give out the big money, and usually you don't, when you go to them for a farm operating loan or a farm purchase loan or whatever and don't have a number, they'll go to the person and get it. So you could ask the receptionist at the front, I want to see the CEO of the office. And now they're moving from the older white guys to young white women. You know, they are kind of making a change, but FSA has never been made to do anything that they're supposed to do. But what I suggest, like I said, every meeting you have, even if it's 2 or 3 together, just start going on your internet. If you go to that, anybody, okay, let's say this. Everybody, as you take your turn and go to whatever county office you're going to, on your way in or even inside, there's a bulletin board. Grab it, I don't get one enough. You grab 3 or 4 fact sheets of whatever it is up there. There's some will be NRCS, some will be Farm Service Agency, some will be Rural Development. Just start grabbing those fact sheets and give one to somebody else and start reading. And I guarantee if you call your state office, because in every state they have an outreach coordinator. Every state office, and the state office is usually at the state capital. The county offices is at the county seat in every county. You don't have to worry about your county office, because now Michigan has 83 counties. We have 82 county offices. Usually there's one in every county, but we got that UP and some of it is kind of barren, like Pembroke. But anyway, so with, you know, it's a lot of space and it's not a lot of people, they can kind of double up. But your state office, if you're not getting any service, now you can't call Illinois State Office and ask for the state conservationist, which is the head of the NRCS, about a Farm Service Agency loan. If the man ain't treating you right with Farm Service Agency when you want a loan, you call the state office and talk to the state FSA director. If you got problems with your NRCS, district conservationist in the county, you call the state office and ask for the state conservationist, and he's over in NRCS. But what you start doing is you're doing just try to make a chart of that breakdown. Now, like rural development is not in every county office. Our rural development office covers 10 counties. Then they have a regional office that's in Grand Rapids. So if you start familiarizing yourself, and for a group this large, anybody you want to come out here would be so happy, because they're going to bring the outreach report. Yeah. And they're going to know some of y'all. And don't let them shake your hand. Oh, yes, because then when they go back, you know, you've got to build, all it is working the system is building relationships. They don't know you. They just don't know nothing about you. They've never mixed or mingled with you. And then your outings, invite them. They'll love to come. This group is so large and nice, they would love it. I started having a field day just for that purpose, so that they could come out, meet my farmers. My farmers wouldn't be so intimidated when they go in that office, and the little do-nothing girl up there might not even graduated from high school, sitting there looking at you all smug. You asked them for NRCS, and
Right.
and pray tell, don't get extension office and USDA mixed up. Now, extension people help, but they're good for trying to tell you about a USDA.